Hey, had an issue over this weekend about an offer that we sent in, and the listing agent didn't like the offer. Not so much the financial number, which I'm sure wasn't what they expected, and they did mention that, but they didn't like the lack thereof of some traditional documents that usually go along with an offer. So, usually on an offer, you have a number of things, including the offer itself, a copy of the deposit check, a letter from the lender, and the relationship disclosure. So, in this case, those are the typical four things for a single family home. This case, we did not have all four of those things. So we got an email back from the listing agent said they were looking for that one thing that we didn't send over, and they were very clear that they had not yet sent the offer to the seller. So we explained that it was the weekend and we didn't have that item and we might have it early next week, but you should definitely send it to the seller. We got another email from the list agent indicating that they were not going to send it to the seller unless we sent this other item. So I finally had to call them and explain that an offer that you receive as a listing agent must be sent to the seller forthwith. Now, back in the olden days, what does forthwith mean? That means you'd, like back in the 80s, you'd get in your station wagon and drive across town to go deliver it to your seller. Hard copy in person. Well, those days are over because, of course, we have email now, right? So all they had to do basically is email our offer over to the actual seller. But they wouldn't do that. So finally, I got them on the phone, and at the beginning of the conversation, they were like, "Well, I won't do it," and then by the end of the conversation, "Oh, I've already done it." Okay, so just so that we all know the rule, the buyer determines the format of the offer. Yes, it is traditional to include those four items I mentioned. I'll mention it to you again. The offer itself, which is usually like a two-page document, a copy of the check, the relationship disclosure, and a letter from the lender. But those are not required by law in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the law does not actually require anything. It only says that an offer. That offer must be submitted to the seller. It is the buyer who determines what the offer is comprised. It is not the role of the seller's agent in any way, shape, or form to be a gatekeeper for what offers are sent to the seller. That is a breach of the seller's agent fiduciary responsibilities. I've always said if a buyer's agent writes an offer with a Sharpie on the back of a pizza box, you got to send that over to the seller. I don't have a pizza box today, so I'll use my other example. If you write it on a cocktail napkin, if you write, I will pay $750,000 for 123 Main Street, JF Gately, and signed, this is a legitimate offer. I know it sounds ridiculous, but if you get an offer like this as a seller's agent, you still have to send this to the seller. It's your fiduciary responsibility. It's your legal responsibility. As a list agent, you must send every offer to the seller. Even if you think it's goofy, you still have to send it. All right, so if it doesn't include one of those four traditional things, it doesn't matter. It's not your job as the gatekeeper to hold back offers. You got to let them all go to the seller. If the seller doesn't like it, that's fine. But you send everything that you get into the seller forthwith, as described by the law. Hey, I'm Jack Gately from Jack Gately Real Estate and the Online Real Estate Academy. You have a great day. Bye-bye.